One of the greatest joys as a leader, we spent a lot of time talking about it this week, is to see someone on your team recognize the opportunity that they have in front of them, and then to see their hard work and effort pay off as they achieve their personal and professional goals. 4.5 years ago, I had the opportunity to meet our next speaker, Graci Harkema, when I moved back to West Michigan. Graci started her career with tech in July of 2013. She hit her first contest in 2014, and then hit her second contest in 2015, followed by 16 and 17, before being promoted into her current role as manager of regional inclusion and diversity for the Midwest. Graci's success as a recruiter can be attributed to her hard work, overcoming adversity, investing in relationships, and being passionate about her career. In addition to this, Graci was aligned to an AM or a lighthouse in Craig Kapuzinski, who was willing to do anything to invest in his partners, in their development, and in their growth. And that paid off for Graci and for Craig. What impressed me early on about Graci was her commitment to partnering with Craig to develop the state of Michigan business, and her incredibly positive attitude. For those of you that know Graci, she's always positive. She's always got a huge smile on her face. And she's inspiring every day that she comes in the office with her energy and her enthusiasm and just that positive attitude. As I got to know Graci, I learned more about what motivated her to work so hard. Over the last 4.5 years, Graci has taught me more about inclusive leadership and overcoming adversity than I could have ever imagined. I'm excited for you all to learn more about Graci's story, the adversity she's battled through, and how she's come out on top. So please welcome our next speaker, Graci Harkema.
Thank you, John. I am humbled by your words. And shout out to West Michigan. You've been by my side every step. Thank you. Yeah, Jason, I understand what you're saying about the room. Hi, everyone. I'm going to tell you a story. I was born in a mud hut in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The hut that I was born in looks very similar to the hut that you see in the photo. I was born on the border of the Congo and Rwanda, just years before the beginnings of the Rwandan genocide. For those of you who've seen the movie Hotel Rwanda, which is an Oscar-winning film based on the Rwandan genocide. If you're wondering, what is the Rwandan genocide? The Rwandan genocide took place in 1994. In the course of 3 months, 1 million men, women, and children were killed based on their tribal identity. For those wondering or thinking, Graci, I hear what you're saying. However, it's been a while since I've been in geography. Where is the Congo? The Congo is the country located in yellow. This is a photo of my biological mother and I when I was a baby. My biological mother, Mari Johnny, was dying when she gave birth to me. She had a protein deficiency disease called Bwaki. Both my biological mother and I were very sick, with a very small chance of survival. Mari Johnny had 2 children who were born before me, and both of them died shortly after birth. Mari Johnny wasn't in a place where she could take care of me, but she wanted me to have the opportunity to survive. I had 4 deadly diseases and 12 to 24 hours to live. She brought me to an orphanage nearby. The orphanage was run by a missionary couple who had a daughter named Amy. That family lived in the house next to the orphanage. When I was brought to the orphanage, they didn't want me to be near the other babies. So they placed me in the back, near a restroom, towards the back of the orphanage. They didn't want to risk other babies getting sick, but more so, they didn't want to risk me dying. So that was the safest place for me. They placed me in a baby doll toy set. I only weighed 3 pounds. 2 hours after I arrived to the orphanage, an American missionary family came to visit. They were visiting the orphanage, and you know how we are when we're on a road trip. Before you get in the car, you should use the restroom. Well, that's what the woman of the missionary family thought. She went to the back of the orphanage by Amy's room. She had to use the restroom. She saw me there, laying in the doll toy set. She presumed I was a doll. She went to the bathroom. She came out. My head turned. She was puzzled. She touched my head. In that moment, she realized I was not a baby and that I was a human. Immediately, she heard a voice inside her say, "This is your daughter." She had a peace about it. She knew that I was hers. She came out. She told her husband that God was calling them to adopt me, and he had a peace about it. And that same day, they brought me home to where they lived in a nearby village and prayed for a miracle. I didn't have any medical care. There weren't any hospitals around. But one day, a German pediatrician came through our village. She happened to have a soy-based protein formula that my body could take. One of the diseases that I had was thrush. If you're familiar with thrush, you know that if you have that, you can't digest anything. But I was able to digest the soy formula. I didn't have a name at this point. My parents wanted me to have a name that had meaning and significance. And then it came to them. They named me Graci, after the grace of God that I was found. Time went on. Miraculously, I was healed. When I was about 6 months old, my parents took me to the village near the orphanage so that we could visit my biological mother. You see it in this photo here. After that, we didn't hear from my biological mother again. We presumed that she had died. This is a photo of my dad and I on the day that my adoption was official. My family moved to Michigan from the Congo when I was almost 4 years old. This is my family. Can you guess which one I am? I grew up in a very homogeneous, non-diverse city outside of Grand Rapids. I had a graduating class of 500. Of that 500, I was the only black female. As you can imagine, I stuck out. Everyone knew me. I always wondered what it would be like to be surrounded with people, or at least have people in my life that looked like me, or to be able to look like someone and have mannerisms of someone. But I never knew what that was like. Oftentimes, I felt like I didn't belong and I didn't fit in. Early on, I got involved with sports. I played soccer my whole life. And when I played soccer, that was one of the first times that I felt like I could fit in. I was on a team. I was a part of something. I was the goalie on the soccer team, and apparently I had a really good kick. So much so that I was recruited to play Division I men's varsity football. Our team did well. My picture was hanging at the wall at the local Applebee's, and we went to the playoffs. Growing up, having a loving family, lots of friends, and the opportunity of the American dream, it appeared like I had everything. However, there was something that I kept a secret from the whole world. From the age of 6, I knew I was gay. I didn't share it with very many people because I knew if I would share it, I wouldn't be loved and I wouldn't be accepted, and I couldn't risk that. So I kept it a secret for 22 years. That's a really long time to keep a secret. Prior to coming to Tech Systems, I was in the closet. I had worked for previous employers for 10 years, telling stories of made-up boyfriends just to fit in. In the state of Michigan, where I live, it is legal to be fired for being LGBT. I couldn't risk losing my friends. I couldn't risk losing my coworkers, and even more so, I couldn't risk losing my job. I interviewed with DBO Alex Polito in June 2013. We had this great conversation. I felt comfortable with him, and for some reason, I came out to him in my interview. Alex commended me on how I had overcome adversity and how I was being true to myself. During my interview, I was walking around the office and I noticed a recruiter's laptop. The laptop was open, and on the laptop, the loop was showing. And it said, mind you, it's June, Tech Systems celebrates Pride Month. I almost couldn't believe what I saw. It was like I was in disbelief that here I was, being in the closet for 10 years with fear about losing my job, and now I come out in an interview, and then moments later, I see that not only is it safe to come out, but the company celebrates Pride Month? Blown away. Alex was very supportive, and I was blown away by his inclusive leadership. Being supported by an inclusive leadership and having the ability to be in my authentic self meant that I was able to work as my whole self every single day without having barriers. DBO John Carpenter moved to West Michigan. John encouraged me to help lead the office with networking events and diversity organizations. This helped West Michigan distinguish themselves on the market and also helped me follow my passion in inclusion and diversity. At my first sales meeting, I met Regional Vice President John Chafin, who co-founded Pride at Tech with Meg Cortese. John and Meg were examples and inspirations to me that it's possible to be your authentic self and be in a leadership role. I hit contest my first year. I was aligned with Craig Kapuzinski in the government vertical. Craig helped push me when I thought I didn't have anything left. He was instrumental in helping me reach my potential. There were times when we'd get a large project, and it was crucial that we had to do whatever it took to deliver for the state of Michigan. There were times that on Saturdays, we would be, both of us, in the office with others in the government team, delivering to make sure that we hit our deadlines. With the support of Craig and the SLED team, I hit contests every year. I was inspired by Vice President Mark Collins to be uncommon. I dedicated myself to do what other recruiters on the market weren't doing. I cared about my consultants and my clients as if they were family. I ensured that they were valued and appreciated in every interaction, and I always did what was best for them, even if it was less spread for me. Grit, care, compassion, and strong work ethic led to high performance. I helped lead West Michigan's ERGs, which half of the office participates in. Shout out to you, West Michigan. Leading the multicultural ERG is a confirmation of not just knowing that I had finally fit in, but that the ERG enriched the culture of the office. John Carpenter was instrumental in showing the importance of the ERG by attending almost every single ERG event and meeting. Everything seemed to be going well. However, there was something missing. My whole life, from time to time, I would think of my biological mother. I thought she was dead. After we moved to the US, we never heard from her. I kept wondering, what would it be like to actually look like someone? Remember Amy from the orphanage? Well, she now lives in Kenya. I reached out to her 3 years ago because I was working on a project about the Rwandan genocide. Amy was my only connection of knowing somebody who was still living remotely close to the area. I reached out to her to ask her about her childhood. She told me about how her and her family would take care of Marijani, my biological mother, after my family moved to the US. I didn't know that Amy knew Marijani. I was a little shocked. So then I inquired more. I said, Amy, I never had the closure of knowing when Marijani died, but I need to know. Can you find out? I received a text message from Amy referring to a conversation that she was having with a friend. Her friend lives in the Congo. Amy asked her friend, do you know if Marijani is still alive? The text reads this, yep, she is still alive. 2 weeks ago, she came after me asking about her daughter, but I didn't have a clue. That daughter she was referring to is me. I couldn't believe it. This meant she was alive this whole time. My entire life until 3 years ago, I thought she was dead. I thought what would be physically impossible for the rest of my life now suddenly is a possibility. I had to meet her. The first people I told about Marijani being alive is Craig Kapuzinski and John Carpenter. Outside of the emotion that I was experiencing and knowing that I had to meet her, I was concerned about leaving work. I was concerned about how can I maintain 20K in spread and be in Africa for a month. John and Craig reminded me that before I'm an employee, I am first a human. And my priority needed to be present, not just for myself, but also for my family. The PM and BA team and the SLED team assured me that they would take care of my business for the entire month without any email or internet access, and that they would make sure that everything with my consultants and with my clients were taken care of. The West Michigan office rallied together to support me on my journey. Okay, now my parents. So I had to tell my parents that Marijani was alive. I told them. And I told them that I needed to meet her. However, I needed them to come with me. I needed to meet Marijani. I needed to meet her to say thank you. Her giving me up gave me life. And I needed Marijani to see me with my parents, to see how much they love me, and to see the opportunity that I have been given. My parents were a little nervous, but they knew how much it meant to me. Before we met Marijani, my mom said to me, with fear in her eyes, "Will I still be your mom?" "Of course," I said. My need to meet my biological mother did not take away my mom from being my mom. My parents were very supportive and understanding, and we planned the trip. Flying to the Congo to meet my biological mother felt like I was sitting on top of the world's largest roller coaster. I had longed to ride it for years. Its thrill excited me. Its magnitude intimidated me. I was terrified. I was nauseous. My anxiety was really, really high. However, I had to meet her. I didn't have a way to communicate with Marijani. I had no idea how she felt about meeting me. And I'm sure you are all wondering, what was it like to meet her? Meeting my biological mother was perfect. It was like a script from a movie. In that moment, everything was complete and everything made sense. The very first thing she said to me was, "My daughter, my daughter, my daughter." When I saw her, I knew her. We don't speak the same language. We had translators to communicate, but we even have the same voice inflections. Also, I discovered where my smile came from. I discovered that I have two biological brothers. One of them is married and has kids. When I met them, I had an instant bond and connection with them. My youngest brother is the one on the right. He's living with my biological mother, and they were living in a mud hut and are very poor. And I'm still not sure how they even survived. My parents were very moved from the experience as well. They saw the impact that they could create in the Congo by helping the people, similar to what they did 30 years ago. They were so moved that last fall, they physically moved to the Congo. They run a faith-based nonprofit, and they now take care of my biological mother and my biological brothers. Here's some photos of us FaceTiming. My dad is holding the phone so Marijani can FaceTime with me. I imagine that this is the very first time in her whole life that she has ever seen a smartphone. And I imagine that she never thought it would be possible that in real time she can physically see and speak to her daughter on the other side of the world. However, even though I can't imagine what that is like for her, her smile shows it all. I came back from the trip of meeting my biological mother with a renewed sense of purpose. I was a part of the Midwest Emerge program and had the opportunity to be mentored by Michelle Webb and Franklin Reed. I had shared with them my desire to work on the inclusion and diversity team and took on stretch assignments to prepare me for the role. A regional diversity manager role opened, and I interviewed August 2017. I had prepped with VPs and directors from across the country to make sure I was ready. I wanted that job more than anything. I finished the interview, and I felt like I nailed it. I was getting feedback on a Friday. I was so excited just to hear and to wait and get the news. Friday came. I got the feedback. I didn't get the job. I was devastated, heartbroken. I felt like somebody had died. I was so devastated that I couldn't even come to work on Monday. I had to take a personal day. However, I trusted that Tech Systems had made the best business decision. On Tuesday, I came back to work, ready to rock. I focused on 3 areas. 1, my interview feedback. 2, investing in others. And 3, driving performance. I took the feedback of not having enough client experience and created a stretch assignment that involved the top 10 clients of the West Michigan office. I invested in my team and new recruiters by helping them to achieve their goals and drive performance. Our triangle hit contest, I grew my spread an additional 5K. And I didn't do that because I was asked to, because I wasn't. I did that to get better. Character is who you are when you think that nobody is looking. I didn't think that another role would open. In November 2017, a regional diversity manager role opened. I got promoted. Here's a photo of our incredible team. Franklin Reed and Eric Lee couldn't be in this photo. To the left is Jamia, then Jamia Young, Teresa Trung, Mike Powers, and the newest addition to our team, Angie Falk. Angie Falk was promoted as a regional diversity manager in April. For those of you here, similar to me, who interviewed for a role and didn't get it, don't think that it's over. There are always things changing and moving around at Tech. You never know when there'll be an opportunity, even if you think you had missed it the first time. Tech isn't just about accomplishing professional goals. It's also about accomplishing personal goals. My biological mother has lived in a mud hut her entire life. When I met her, one of my goals was to get her a house. She's never had a house, which means that she's never had a kitchen. She has never had a dining table. My brother has never had a bed. My brother has never had his own room. A house means warmth, safety, sanitation, and the ability to make and store food. A house means security. A couple of months ago, with the help of my parents who are living in the Congo, I got her a house. The photo in the corner is a message what my mom sent to me. She says her kitchen is in the back of the house. She's cooking. She's cooking beans to serve with rice. You bought everything for her life, and she repeatedly rejoices. We all have a story, and we all have purpose. My purpose has been executed throughout my life since being at Tech. By the grace of God, I was found. I have an amazing family who loves me. I grew up in a city where I didn't belong. I absorbed myself in sports to fit in. I'm gay. I came out. I lost a lot of people in my life. But I've gained even more with a company who supports me as my authentic self. And I have a lot of friends who support me and help make me a better person. I have the support and leaders who invest in my career every single step. I am part of an inclusive team in West Michigan and Inclusion and Diversity. They support each other, and we run alongside each other to accomplish more, to give more, and to do more. I have the support from my team and from leadership to continue to execute on my professional and personal goals. We all have a story. We all have a journey. We all have purpose. Thank you to each of you here at Tech. You have enriched my life. But most importantly, all this wouldn't have happened without my parents' selfless love and unconditional love. They have supported me even when times were tough. They're the most amazing people I have ever met. This month, they're celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. I aspire to have a love like theirs someday. They are amazing, and I would love for you to meet them. I would like to introduce to you my parents, Ray and Jane Harkema. Come here.
You did such an awesome job.
Stanley. Thank you.